I'm Dr. Serahni Symington. I'm a senior lecturer in psychology at the Cornerstone Institute and a program coordinator. As a lecturer, we often get asked in the psychology department, what is counselling? So we thought we'd make a video on what to expect in terms of counselling. We're going to look at 3 aspects of counselling: what it is, who is involved in the process, and how does the process work. So what is counselling? Counselling is usually a professional relationship between a client and a counsellor who tries to uncover certain aspects of the client's life that they might be struggling with. These aspects that they can struggle with can range from an enormous amount of things, but at the end of the day it impacts their daily functioning, whether within their own relationships, their family life, whether at work, whether just in the hobbies that they are doing. Things aren't working as well as they used to in terms of life. And so they access counselling to help them adjust back into being fully functional and, I guess, just happy. Who is involved in the counselling process? Usually there's a professional counsellor that's trained in certain modalities to assist a client in helping to uncover and understand their current situation. When people struggle, it's usually because the resources that they're using at the moment aren't working as effectively as it used to. And so it's often helpful to be in a relationship where they can talk through options, also understanding the problem from a different angle and not just having their own subjective view of the situation, but being in an objective space that helps them to respond to the situation. At times, we don't always see a problem in a certain way, and through conversation and engagement, it helps us to reassess the problem or the situation and how to better respond to it. As part of understanding who is involved in the counselling process, we need to look at the client and the counsellor. The client is often someone that are going through life changes. They might be experiencing external or internal turmoil. External turmoil can include things such as moving, trauma, being in a car accident, going through something that happened to them, something externally outside of themselves that's impacting them in the today. Or it can be inner conflict that they're experiencing, whether it's around their temperament or personality. An example of this might be, I talk too much, and when I talk too much, people don't like me and I'm struggling to make friends. It's an inner temperament or personality trait that's prohibiting me from enjoying certain aspects of my life. And I need some assistance in understanding myself better, and whether do I accept the fact that I talk too much or whether I work on another way of looking at talking too much. Also in this relationship with the counsellor and the client is of course the counsellor. The counsellor needs to be a professional trained in psychology and often registered in a specific board. Our counsellors have certain skills that they need to develop through their training, and it's very important that when you do pick a counsellor, you choose someone that has an ethical registration with a board that governs them, because this shows us that they really are ethically inclined to do what is of best interest to the client. How does the counselling process work? Usually the client would contact the counsellor to say that they're in need of assistance. This then takes the form of counselling sessions where the counsellor has an intake session to try and understand and uncover where the client needs support. In these sessions, they are then discussed how many sessions would follow on, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 sessions along the line. The counsellor and the client would contract on what the sessions look like, on aspects such as confidentiality, breach of confidentiality, and just the modalities in which counselling would take place. They will also set up some goals for counselling. What would the client like to reach at the end of the counselling process? Sessions usually last for around 50 minutes to an hour, depending on the relationship and on the contract that the client has with the counsellor. These sessions are often paid for, unless it's in a government institution or an NPO or NGO that the client has access to free resources.